Hello, everyone. This is Friday night at the Barbell with your hosts, myself, Carson Wendell, Bryant Wood, and Josh Sellers. And we have an awesome guest here today, Mr. Austin Marks. That was a drum roll. You probably
That
didn't hear
was
it.
the worst drum roll of all time. There we go.
Yeah, that's better. If I do over my whole rig.
Oh, true, yeah. Cell phone deactivated. So, how's it going, Austin?
Uh, it's going. I mean, we're just going day by day.
Yeah.
Right now, I do run the business. I am a dad, and I work full time as a respiratory therapist. So
So, how do you do all that?
that's a great.
Well, actually,
That's
I
a
think
great
you're just not
question.
busy enough. I think you can do more.
So I will say, as a respiratory therapist, and I think you're a nurse, Carson. Working the 3 12-hour shifts definitely helps. Then on my days off, I can kind of focus on the business as well as being a dad and spending time with my family and whatnot. But the days that I am at the hospital, I am working from 7 to 7. I get home, shower, go right to bed pretty much.
Yeah. So, you work in a NICU, right?
As a respiratory therapist, I'm kind of all over the hospital,
Okay.
but primarily right now they do have me in the NICU, and I enjoy it. I do like
What?
adults and like the trauma stuff a little bit more. However, the babies, it's different.
Yeah. What hospital are you with?
I am with UPMC, so I work at Harrisburg, which is the capital of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Is that a pretty big place? Like pretty big hospital? How many beds?
It's about 315. It's not the biggest I've worked at, but I mean it's a decent sized hospital.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. I found that like it seems like with the bigger cities or more busy areas, there's just like more facilities. There may not be like these giant mega hospitals, but I feel like there's like I drove through Dallas when I went to Texas and it was like a hospital, it seemed like every like 2 miles. It was like a hospital. So
That's
but
kind of where it's what it's like where I live,
yeah.
and the one place is a trauma center in Harrisburg. We do have
Okay.
a lot of shootings, so they all go to there, and that's where I initially worked. And I did love, like, terrible to say, but like people coming in that were shot and kind of like working on them and fixing them up.
Dang. Cool, man.
Unless you come to
That's
Birmingham, where it's a massive area with one hospital.
Burning Man.
Well, you got Grandview, you got UAB and Grandview and shit up there in
Yeah, but
Birmingham.
Grandview's on the opposite side, so it's leaving Birmingham.
Yeah,
You know, it's not really in Birmingham. There are some others. There's like Princeton Hospital and St. Vincent's, but
Yeah.
UAB is like as big as the college of UAB.
Yeah, the place is huge.
It's crazy.
Dang.
They're like buying up all of Birmingham City. It's weird.
just
Yeah.
a hospital. It won't be a city anymore; it'll just be a hospital.
Yeah.
So you've got
I do.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I was gonna say I do feel like the bigger hospital systems are like that, as you know. It's just money scandal everywhere.
So Austin, how many kids you got? You got one kid?
I have one kid. She's 8 months old. I had her in May. Well, I
Nice.
didn't have her. My wife had her, obviously. But
Truly hybrid.
I had 2 weeks off of paternity leave, and that time I did spend with mainly with my family. But I will say she was a terrible, terrible sleeper, waking
Really?
up 2 to 3 times every single night.
Oh yeah.
So I know I'm a caffeine addict. I love my pre-workout, and some days I would just take it to get through the day, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
There's many times when I go into work and I'm like, all right, let's go. Just dome one and go in on no sleep.
Shotgun a
Don't.
Another
bang.
great thing is you guys can probably see the home gym here behind me. So that was a huge help. Just throw the baby in her little activity center and just get a workout in, entertain her while I'm getting my lifts in, you know?
Absolutely.
I feel like your job and now family life is the perfect reason to have started a supplement company. Because it can help you just keep going whenever you feel like I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
And I will say that, like, I think COVID kind of threw me over the edge because I saw a lot of death personally working in the ICU. That was when I really started thinking about, okay, what else can I do to kind of get out of the healthcare field? And that's when I started it. And now I'm kind of like getting my niche per se. And I do want to start focusing on helping dads more, like people who do already have a very busy schedule, and how they can get a lift in within an hour and still hit their nutrition and just all these other kind of habit things to help shape their life. Because as you know, I feel like there are a lot of dads who are just overweight and they don't ever hit the gym. So that is something that I do want to start targeting a little bit more. Kind of working with the marketing guy. We're working on a huge project right now, and I'm really, really hoping that it takes off. But I mean, we'll see how it goes.
That's really cool.
There we go.
Overweight and overwhelmed.
Right.
A lot of dads out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm really going after is men who are 30 to 50, because I also feel like at that stage in their life is really when they like just don't care anymore. However, as you guys know, that's really when you got to dig in, especially if you want that longevity, because diet is one of the leading causes of death everywhere. I mean, along with genetics and stuff, but so much are for foods, they cause cancer, they cause cardiovascular disease, and all that could be avoided with eating right and working out.
Yeah.
Definitely can help. Yeah, CBD is the leading cause of death for men in the U.S. I know it might be in the world as well, but I know cardiovascular disease is just the leading cause right now for death of men in the U.S. So
Yeah, and I think you're right.
people need
You're
to
a
help.
little, I'm
Say
sorry,
what?
I was gonna say, I thought you said CBD at first.
That's what I thought he said too.
Dang,
That's what I heard.
CBD.
that's something else. But no, CBD for sure.
And I think part of it is people don't exercise, obviously, but a big part in the U.S. at least is nutrition. Like, it's not necessarily bad nutrition, but it's nutritional ignorance, I think. A lot of people don't know what a macronutrient is, and they're never
Right.
taught it in school. They don't learn it afterwards, and they damn for sure don't care about it when they're 35, raising 2 kids, working 45 hours a week.
Yeah. When we live in a time when convenience is everything, and like, I mean, now it seems like, I mean, it's literally you can go somewhere through a drive-through and it's almost cheaper, or it is cheaper than like going and buying groceries, and it's faster. So it makes it hard, especially like you're saying for older, young parents, older parents that have a lot going on. It's we live in a busy society.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And one thing that like I'm working with a trainer right now, and he's kind of putting together a free meal plan or like a shopping list or just different meals you can do with that are family friendly. That way, you're not just eating chicken and rice the whole time. You can actually focus on making a good meal that your family's going to enjoy without overdoing it. You know?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a great idea. Like, family style meal prep.
Yeah.
That's something I probably haven't heard before, actually.
Actually, so I've thought about that recently because I'm thinking about doing like another bodybuilding prep starting here in like the next few weeks, and trying to get like really lean for the summer. But my wife is like, "Well, I hate when you're like prepping because all you like cook your own, like you just want me to cook chicken and rice and like." But that would be, she's like, I want to make, like, she likes to make stuff like casseroles and like stuff in the crock pot, like for the whole family to eat. So I've been venturing into like ways to, make that work. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely having your significant other and even your kids. Kids are very picky eaters. Mine, she's just getting into food, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and just trying to get that right meal. That way, they'll actually eat something besides just chicken nuggets and processed food and whatnot. But as you said, being on a bodybuilding prep, you're going to be like these are the meals you need essentially.
Be like, don't put that butter in there. Use a tablespoon of olive oil.
The imitation butter, please.
Yeah, I believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's worse than butter.
Isn't that shit like worse for you than actual butter is? Supposedly.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Probably not, but
It's-
it's probably not good.
I think
It's
it
like
has
a
the same
moderation.
rep as like aspartame or like Spiriva.
Yeah. It's like, There's a lethal dose eventually.
But you're not gonna take that lethal
Yeah.
dose at one sitting.
Pouring
Well,
bottle
in
and
the
believe
South,
on your mashed potatoes. Eventually, it's gonna do something.
you have people that eat comfort sticks, which are just sticks of butter with sugar all over it.
Or
It's
like
like,
deep
Grow up.
fair one time they had deep fried sticks of butter.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Carson had 5 that day.
Oh,
I'm bulking, he says.
Yeah.
So,
So you guys all into powerlifting?
oh yes,
Yup.
all 3 of us are power lifters. Carson is the only successful one, so
Yes.
he's kind of a freak, genetic freak, and
No,
just a
freak is
weirdo.
right.
So
That's the good word to put it.
it's a
I don't know
freak
about
with FR3, AKA,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but yeah, we're all 3 competitive powerlifters. Carson also does bodybuilding. I do coaching as well. Josh,
Just
a
here.
local degenerate.
Absolutely.
Josh, eat
Absolutely.
children.
Yeah,
No,
super heavyweight.
no. I just eat a lot of food.
Like this powerlifting memes, the reason I get into it is you gotta do half the reps. I mean, you get a 5-minute break.
Well, hell, I don't do half the reps sometimes. It's still a bunch.
Yeah, as you're talking to somebody that just run marathons.
Yeah, no, couldn't be me. More power to you.
I think that style of training, like the hybrid style, is, I don't know if it's more popular, but you see it more often now. And
Yeah.
on top of that, there's a few guys that I've been following for a while on Instagram. I don't know if you know them. Fergus Crowley. You know who I'm talking
Yes,
about?
yes.
That guy, insane. Like
They
squatting.
definitely put the hours in.
Oh, man, I think that's all they do. They're like social media influencers, kind of. So they have a lot of ways to not have to work. But like, I think his most recent thing was like a 500 deadlift and a sub 5-minute mile in the same session. Like he did a deadlift and then immediately ran around the track for the 5-minute mile, which is just
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
can't
insane.
imagine trying that.
I know another guy that did that, or like the people that can squat 500 pounds and then run 100 miles. I'm just
Yes,
like
same guys.
insane.
Yeah, it's very intense, and
I do feel like I've been seeing more, and maybe it's because I've watched it more recently, and maybe it's in my algorithm, but I feel like it has been trending a little more like hybrid fitness, hybrid athletes.
yeah, I think that's the word. Trending is trending more now.
Yeah,
And honestly, I was into that style of fitness for a while before I had my kid, just because it takes so long. I kind of backed away from it a little bit. But that is one of the reasons that I picked MHS or Mark's Hybrid Supplements, is because when people are going to search hybrid athlete, then
right.
my supplement company is going to come up. So it was a bit of a marketing move as well. Plus the hybrid, the reason I picked that was because I want the supplements to be for everybody. So people that are into powerlifting as well as bodybuilding, or people that are into bodybuilding as well as running half marathons, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very good name. It's perfect for the situation.
So when you were when you were kind of researching and kind of with the ingredients for your pre-workout, did you have that in mind? Like, I want to put things in here that will kind of appeal to anyone, or a better question, appeal more to like a hybrid style athlete, or was it just
So the Griffin's Blood was initially kind of like the hybrid style. Like I was hitting the gym and then still have those vasodilators or those pump ingredients to basically help me run another 5 miles to help get that blood or oxygen to my muscles. So that's the reason I came up with that formula, just because it has all your stim and focus that you need to actually hit the gym, and then all the other things like the L-citrulline, the beetroot powder, all your sodium. That way, after the workout, you still have all that stuff going in. And then kind of looking at the hybrid athlete blend, I kind of picked the hybrid athlete blend because hybrid has several different things. So it has your BCAAs, your EAAs, your creatine, as well as your electrolytes. So for me, that's like an intro workout type thing, just because your BCAAs are that direct source of energy as well as the electrolytes. So like if I'm going for a run right afterwards, then I have all that hitting me basically.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
creatine, I just think everyone should take creatine. So I just kind of threw it in there to save you some money.
Yeah.
The most studied supplement that exists,
Mm-hmm.
creatine.
Good stuff.
And I
Um,
will say one thing that does stand out for power lifters, like more so than other people, I think, are caffeine addicts. Like caffeine all throughout the day in any form possible. Doesn't even have any coffee most of the time. But it's very strange, but we love it. It is what it is. And yours
I
has, on the higher end, I would say 350 milligrams per serving.
yes,
So that's one scoop,
um,
right?
One scoop.
one
Hell
scoop.
yeah.
I
Right?
actually had several people come to me and say, "Hey, dude, that's too much caffeine." And I was like, "What?
No
Like,
such thing.
come on, 350? Yeah,
The lethal
like you drink
dosage
a
is
Bang or
230.
a Monster. Yeah, yeah."
yeah.
Um, but yeah, another thing that I was kind of looking at was I get the whole 20-40 servings, but nobody wants to take one scoop when it's going to be what 3,000, 4,000 grams of or milligrams of L-citrulline or
Mm-hmm.
like 150 grams of caffeine. So that's why I put the 30 servings. You get everything just boom right there, and it should last roughly a month because I mean not everyone hits the gym 7 days a week.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And two, I like you put the pink Himalayan sea salt in there. That's nice.
Hell yeah.
I'm a pink salt fan. I feel like too with sodium. I feel like sodium's so underrated when it comes to like lifting, like with power, but for bodybuilding especially. I mean, I can tell if I've eaten something like Subway or something with a ton of sodium, it's like night and day difference as far as like the pump goes. Or
Mm-hmm.
anything just high sodium, if you eat like fast food or something and you go to the gym, it's like insane.
You holding all that water?
Yeah.
I did
But
listen to a book recently. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was some guy who was in pharmaceuticals, and he talked about like why if you're an athlete, you need to take salt. Like you need to have salt in. So that's when I started putting pink Himalayan salt in my pre-workout because it also has all these minerals and stuff in it compared to like regular table salt. Plus, with running, I mean, you need that salt because you're just sweating it out. But that's the reason that I put the salt in the pre-workout because, like you said, it just day and
yeah,
night. Plus, as a nurse, you know about like osmosis and stuff, and just like more nutrients going into the muscle, which is just going to help you lift more, help you perform better, and I mean, that's ultimately what's going to give you the most gains.
right.
I think it's a misnomer too. Like a lot of people talk about potassium or mustard or uh, pickle juice whenever they cramp, but it's really just sodium that you need. Which pickle juice, get a lot of sodium in that. But
Exactly.
but the sodium being in your pre-workout assists in preventing cramps. Can.
And it doesn't have a very in my opinion, doesn't have a very salty taste. I do think that the pink starburst is a little bit grainier due to the pink Himalayan salt and just the manufacturer. But like that was another thing I was really focused on is having the pre-workout not taste like battery acid because I know Total War. I take that stuff and just not for me.
Some of it's
Yeah,
rough for sure.
yeah. I feel like those salt makes things taste good. Like I like that. I like that taste. Like if, like even in you put like when you're making chocolate chip cookies, you put some salt in there. It like brings out that like when you have something sweet and you add sodium to it, it makes it taste kind of like it kind of enhances the taste a little bit, I guess. But I like the salty taste. Like I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I just made what is it, cinnamon protein muffins, and like they told me to put salt in there for in the morning for my pre workout snack, and like it had that little bit of salt, but I mean it tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So you were talking about like putting all this like all the different like not chemicals. What I'm saying, different stuff in the pre-workout. How do you source that? Like, do you go off a website somewhere and be like, oh, I want amount of this, this, and this, and this, or like how does that work? Because like, I know you can go to like bulk supplements and stuff and get like creatine, and a whole bunch of different powders and stuff. But how does that work?
So I've been taking pre-workout for a very long time, and I just kind of found what I liked throughout taking different brands of pre-workout. But ultimately, when I came up with the formula, I initially reached out to a manufacturer who is like an FDA approved lab. They handle everything. There's a lot of testing that goes into it. I don't make the stuff in my kitchen. Um, but they initially was just like, okay, we'll take your formula, we'll do it. And my very first like version of the pre-workout had like 6 ingredients. It was absolutely terrible in my opinion. But money was definitely a factor, and I definitely upgraded the formula. And now I have 22 ingredients, and like I did a whole lot more research as well as to okay, this does that. How can I get the best bang for my buck, essentially?
Hmm.
Got you. Because
How
I've
much?
always,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
because like I've always wondered how, because all these different people put out different supplements and stuff. Like company will come out, ooh, new pre-workout and stuff like that. I just didn't know how they did it. Like, did they? I know
And
some of them go through labs and get the stuff tested and all that. But I just didn't know the process of that.
you also got to be careful with a lot of these newer supplement companies popping up because some of them do like drop shipping. So it's all coming from the same manufacturer, same exact formula, same exact amount of ingredients, but they just slap their label on it. And when you place an order on their online store, they don't actually see the product at all. It goes straight to that manufacturer, and then they'll ship it to you with that company's
With the
logo on
label
it.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think one of the best ways to figure that out is proprietary blends, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I don't
And
really
in my
see
opinion,
any of.
I stay away from theirs 100%
Yeah,
because I want to know what I'm putting in my body, essentially.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And I feel like now supplement companies, if you're putting proprietary blends on your nutrition label, you're just like, I feel like more people are aware now that that's just not good, and that like a very, you know, explicit label is the way to go for sure. Um, so how long did it take for you to develop these, or let's just say your newest like hybrid one? How much time do you think it took to like come up with that?
I would say I probably spent about a month of doing actual
Mm.
research after I got like the first initial formula. And then I sold that one out pretty quickly. And then I ran into some mishaps because what actually happened was I placed an order with this old manufacturer that I used to use. I didn't want to be a pain in the butt. They said, hey, it's going to take about 10 to 12 weeks. I was running a pre-order on the website, had a bunch of people place these pre-orders, and I was kind of stupid. I did it in the beginning. So these people were going to wait like 10 weeks to get their stuff. And they were all for it. They're like, hey, take my money. I want my stuff. Because I was giving like a free shirt away or something. Well, at the end of the 10 weeks, I didn't really hear too much from this manufacturer. And I was, I mean, I didn't want to be a pain in the butt, like I was saying. So at the 9 week mark, I messaged them and said, hey, any update? And they basically said, oh, we forgot to push the order through. So it's going to be another 10 weeks. Even though they took 4 grand from me 10 weeks before that. So then that kind of pissed off a lot of my customers. And unfortunately, some of them left, which, I mean, makes sense. I'd be kind of mad too.
Yeah.
But that was the main reason I switched. And then I started talking to this new manufacturer about the different formulas and what has worked for other people in the past. And that's kind of when we came up with this ingredients list for Griffin's Blood.
Cool.
So we also are going to be releasing another one probably the end of February. It is going to have that lesser caffeine, like people have asked, as well as 3 grams of L-citrulline, just because I know that's, we're not 3 grams of L-citrulline, 3 grams of glycerol.
Okay.
A little bit more of like a pump rather than a stick.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
essentially because caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, so it's going to constrict those vessels, which, as you know, some of these pre-workouts will give you 400 milligrams of caffeine and then 10 grams of L-citrulline, but
Mm,
they're kind of counterbalancing each other. And what's the point
Yeah.
if you're going to put 10 grams of L-citrulline in when it isn't going to do anything because the caffeine's going to vasoconstrict it?
yeah,
It's
I
it's
remember.
probably
Sorry,
I was gonna say it's probably a good thing to take out some caffeine for night lifters, night runners, or even running in general. Some people might not want the caffeine for their actual run if they're doing a long run, because then by the time halfway through you might get a crash.
Crash.
That probably wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Around a 10
I've
miler.
actually had some people, they say, like, I love hitting the gym. I don't need pre workout for the gym, but I need it when I'm going for a run because I hate running.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion,
Me
why
too.
run at that point?
Yeah.
But
So
that's definitely a market as well.
Or you can just be a degenerate like me, go to the gym at like 8 o'clock, like I'm finna do, dome like 300 milligrams of caffeine, then go to sleep by 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
yeah, you have great sleep. You probably
it's
have high
fantastic.
quality sleep too.
It's fantastic.
Honestly, I think that's the point where I'm at right now. I generally lift in the morning because I try and get it in before the baby or my wife wakes up, but I can probably take 300 milligrams of caffeine before bed.
Yeah,
You're a dad now, so you're on the CPAP gang yet?
Not yet. I had to get away from that dad bod.
Well, Carson doesn't have a dad bod, but he
need a CPAP. I haven't gone. I haven't actually gone to get my CPAP, but they told me. They told me. So I went to have a sleep study because I snore. It's like because right now I'm about 263, 264, and like I put on in the past couple years. I put on probably 40 pounds, but my
Your wife's
wife,
there elbowing you.
dude, yeah, I went like I like last night. I was not even asleep. I wasn't I wasn't even sleeping, but I was just I was literally breathing. And my wife, she was like, she like nudged me. She's like, "Hey, can you turn over?" And I was like, "I'm not even. I'm awake." She's like, "Well, it sounds like you're snoring." So like, and like, so when I sleep, it's pretty bad, especially if I'm on my back. But I need a CPAP. I just haven't gone to actually get fitted and stuff yet. But
this was
like
like 6
CPAP,
months
I'm
ago.
on, like 10 pounds of gains.
It was like 6 months ago when you said they told you needed a CPAP.
Nurses are client patients. We're not good patients.
Yeah, nurses, doctors, PTs.
But I was gonna say kind of a funny story. So back when I was probably 20 or 21, I was working for this place like a Parks and Rec here in town, and I was like gonna experiment. I was like, I want to take some of the things that I like from pre-workout and like make my own little thing. So I got like caffeine pills, and then I got beta alanine and L-citrulline powder. And so I would do like a caffeine pill, and then I would take like 8 grams of L-citrulline, and then like 3,500 of milligrams of beta alanine. Well, one time the bags, it was the bulk supplements, and the bags were like white bags, and they looked the same. So one time I scooped in, I did beta alanine on accident, and I put a ton of beta alanine in there, and I was so sick.
Boy, itching.
So, so don't do your science experiments at home, kids, because you will feel like you're burning.
Don't brew my Chinese research chemicals in my bathtub. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, none of that.
I will say another interesting thing, in my opinion. I feel the tingles from the beta alanine more with the pink starburst than I do the orange creamsicle. And I messaged the manufacturer. I said, "Hey, are you guys doing anything different?" Because they were two different manufacturers, and he's like, "No, we use probably the purest beta alanine that there is on the market." So then they sent me the samples for this new blend that I'm getting, and I felt the tingles again. I was just like, messaged a bunch of my athletes. I'm like, "Do you guys feel the tingles from the orange creamsicle?" They're all like, "Yeah, we feel it." So I don't know if it's my tolerance or just the formula, how it's put together. But really, the only thing that's different in the formula that I felt the tingles versus that one is the glycerol and the caffeine.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
synergistic action going on there.
So you'll definitely have to keep me updated if you guys get the tingles or not.
Will do.
But yeah,
I appreciate the tingles. I know
Yes.
sometimes they can be too much, and one of the side effects that I know of is itchy butthole, but you kind of get over that.
That
As long as you
explains a
know
lot
it's coming.
now.
we I'm sorry, I'm just like telling stories, but one night me and my wife were going out and we were tired and we were like, I had some pre-workout that I trained before. We like went out to meet some friends at the bar, and she was like, "Let me have some of that." I was like, "Okay." So she drank. It had full of beta-alanine. She's never like she doesn't take pre-workout, so she drank it, and we're like driving down the road, and she's like, "Babe," she's like breathing. She's like, "Hey, why do I feel like this?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I feel like I have like bugs crawling on me." I was like, "That's fine, it's beta-alanine." And it got so bad. She's just over there like, she's like, "I feel like I'm on fire." I was like, "Oh, it's okay, it'll go."
You should take it to the gym.
Just do some
the,
rolls real quick, you'll be fine.
the depressant and the alcohol really calmed it down, probably.
Yeah,
What a mix. Pre-gaming with pre-workout.
yeah, man.
Not
Nah,
what I
bro.
would not what I would think a husband and wife duo would be doing.
Yeah, man.
You gotta take the salts to the bar, man.
That's the next step. Yeah, you got to start taking smelling
Melon
salts to
salts
the
to the
bar.
bar.
Oh yeah, just hit pneumonia before.
Personally, that's something I've never done.
I used to do it a lot.
It's
Salts.
fun.
It was like a thing in Tuscaloosa for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know with
it'll get you-
powerlifters, they say you just gotta do it, and then.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Oh, you've never tried them at all.
Never tried them at all.
I see now.
Ooh.
That's surprising as a nurse for working in a hospital, like the 12-hour shifts. You get a little
I know, right?
Yeah,
A
you're
little
sleepy. Just
ammonia cap, and you're good to go.
yeah.
I would say this: the caps hit more than like the stuff you buy in the bottle.
They're more fun too.
Yes,
It's like
it
a
looks cooler. It looks cooler when you're doing it.
it's like a little treat. It snaps right there. Has that tactile feedback.
Yeah.
Nice. It's all those senses.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing when I ran my marathon is I've never experienced anything like this, but my face was completely like full of white powder, and as well as my body, and it was just the salt everywhere.
Mm.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I know, yeah, like it was
Crazy.
crazy. Like I washed my face, and it felt like I was just like licking a block of salt.
That's interesting.
Never really thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever experience it either.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if I tried to run a marathon, dude, I would full body cramp at like mile 4.
Yeah, right now. I think you'd be a great candidate for hybrid training. You're already a freak.
Once.
Have you guys ever heard of an Ironman?
Oh yeah.
I do see a lot of athletes that do that as well. I thought about it last year going into it, but with the baby and everything, that's one of those things. The training is just ridiculous. You need at least 3-4 hours every single day of training.
The swim will get you.
Oh yeah, I'm a rock personally.
It should all get me. Well, you know what's crazy about like endurance events like that, like Ironman, marathon, ultra marathon, trail running, all that stuff. Like you can see like 75-year-old grandpas, great grandfathers doing it, and there's no chance, no shot that I can do it. Whereas in a powerlifting meet, like I'm way stronger than those 75-year-old men. Like fuck them, I will outlift them all day long. But you get them in a marathon, and they're gonna smoke me.
Dust.
Yeah.
Or I have a buddy who he does marathons pretty regularly, and he got a full gut on him and everything. And I'm sure, like I know that personally, I look a whole lot more athletic than him, but he would smoke me, and you would have never guessed it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
There was
Cardio.
this,
Leaper build.
which I know swimming's a little when I worked at the pool, there would be a guy that came in. He was a tall guy. He was like 6'5", but he had a huge like beer gut, and he would get in the pool and swim like he would do like 2-3 miles. He'd be there for hours and hours, and he would just like not let up. He would just be like,
Just
and
going.
sometimes got like a little
Stroking it.
block between his legs and just do pure arms for like a mile. Like he just not let up. Um, but I talked to him before. He said he was like, yeah, I swam in college and went to the Olympic trials and like
Hell
such and
yeah,
such.
man.
But I used to be good buddies with a guy that did triathlons, and like he did a lot of like sprint triathlons, like shorter ones. But he swam in college, so he would just like slay, because it seems like most people they they don't um, they don't swim. Like most people are, the swimming is the most like, what word am I trying to think of?
I feel, in my opinion, people that get into triathlons, like they start off, the people who are really good at it start off as a swimmer, and
Yeah,
then they start running and then doing the bike riding.
yeah.
Like I bought a bike this past summer, and I figured, oh, I run, like biking should be easy, but now those hills kill me. But I have another buddy who is a bigger guy, and I mean, he does like the powerlifting thing, but he rides bike all the time, and he would just go up these real steep hills like they were nothing, just because his legs were that built. Which I will say, my legs are probably my weakest strength point, even though like I run all the time. But you put 315 on the bar, and I'm lucky if I can squat that. Which is terrible, but I mean, it is what it is. My little runner legs.
So how much do you feel like, say, endurance training impacts your strength training? So, and another question I have is, do you find it hard to progress in both at the same time, and then to what degree?
So when I was like really going hard, I didn't see a decline in either. Like I probably wasn't increasing at the rate that I could have because I was doing both like at a very hard rate. But I definitely did see an increase like in my bench, in my squat, in my deadlift. And then like my running times definitely decreased as well. So like I was getting faster. But that's back when I was working out 2.5, 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Of course, the nutrition was on point, but if you don't have that stuff on point, I definitely think that you're not going to see a great increase, and they will affect each other. So one thing with like the project that I'm doing is for the Fit Dads is I do want to focus on the strength training as well as like the cardio rather than doing like the hypertrophy and like the bodybuilding type of style. I want to focus on if you're doing the strength training as well as like some cardio, kind of like the old school CrossFit, then you're gonna look good essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the newer CrossFit is just a bunch of random crap, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yes. The
I
old
do.
school when you had like all the Olympic lifts, and then you'd go run half a mile and then come
Yeah,
back and then do the Olympic lifts again, rather than these skis or like I mean rows are okay I guess, or like these power or the pull ups, the chest to bar. I mean, in my opinion, that's not working any muscles at all.
yeah,
And you
they do.
forgot the most important part of the new school CrossFit, which is all the gear.
Yo, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Gear and lack of clothing.
Everybody's just loaded to the absolute max. Like those chicks,
Yeah.
holy moly.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they're crazy. Like they make me look bad.
Shredded, jacked, shredded, tight, fit.
Yeah.
thick, solid, and tight. It's
But yeah, some of them are pretty scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an intense sport, but that's part of the reason their programming changed is they're trying to do things for TV. What's interesting, what do people want to see? So
Yeah.
it makes sense. You get away from Olympic lifting because
Nobody wants
there's
to
a
see
reason Olympic lifting is not in the Olympics anymore. It's fucking boring to watch.
that. It's not.
Yeah, same with powerlifting. Like in my opinion, I don't think powerlifting will ever really be like on TV or anything. I mean, they got the strongman and stuff, but the strongman, in my opinion, is a little bit more entertaining than the
Way
powerlifting.
more.
I think you were talking about this a little bit with Matt. Just how like there's just all these different events and stuff compared to powerlifting. You just have these three main events, and it's not that entertaining.
No, it's a snooze fest. Worse
WPO
than
man,
baseball.
ESPN, WPO.
They did have a couple of events on ESPN last year, and a couple of them were disasters. But it is like not a spectator sport.
No,
Yeah.
And especially if you don't really know what's going on, you'd watch it and be like, "Why are they doing this?"
and that's
Who
what I tell
cares?
like people I know. They're like, "Oh, I want to come to one of your meets." I'm like, "No, you don't." Like,
An 8 hour day.
Dude,
you're going to be
Yeah.
sitting there for 8 hours watching,
Yeah, that's
just watching. There's nothing going on.
yeah, that's the thing. If like you have family or friends, or like, yeah, I want to come watch you. In their mind, they don't know,
No,
and like they're gonna come watch a football game or something. And it's like, no, you better get breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
we're lock in.
sleeping
Gotta
bag.
lock
Yeah.
in.
yeah, tent, everything, and eventually it's gonna get there, but there's a lot of processes it has to go through. The WRPF that's now predominantly in Alabama, where we're at, they did put on a really, really good nationals and what they call the American Pro, which is a pro level meet. They're actually interesting to watch because like all those people are squatting over 700 pounds
Yeah,
and like deadlifting in the thousands. Like
That's awesome.
it's a freak show, and they make it seem like that too.
They turn it to a
Like-
spectacle.
Yeah, it's like a lot of fireworks or indoor fireworks and
high
smoke,
quality production.
Yeah.
Good
light
comment.
shows, music,
Yeah.
yeah, good commentary. They do a red carpet all the way up to the deadlift platform. You like walk through the crowd up to it. It's like they do it right, but it's going to take a lot for average powerlifting to get there because I don't
Yeah.
think it ever will.
I do feel like it's a very young sport. Out of all the different things,
Yeah.
I mean, look how far CrossFit has come. For example, like a decade ago, they were like in their backyard, and now it's like
Yeah.
publicized, and like there's tons of people that go to Wisconsin every year. And I feel like powerlifting definitely has that as well. Like as long as they keep moving in that direction.
It's on the come up, and what if you're not well versed in it, you don't even know because it used to be in equipment. So you used to have like bench shirt, squat suit, deadlift suit that you used to wear when you competed, and it takes those guys like 20 minutes to get in their suit. So the competitions would literally last 36 hours. Like some people lift in the morning, another group in the afternoon, another group at night, and then the next morning it would finish up. So like now at least we've whittled it down to 8 hours on a long day. Some competitions are going like 4 hours. That's probably ideal.
USAPL does that. They go real fast.
Oh, I know. They do
4 hours. Yeah, that's
Yeah, like two.
They do like
3.5 4
smaller.
hours.
So typically, I'll say last year's state meet took us 8 hours, 9 hours, or no,
No,
it was 12 hours.
The
12
drug
hours.
tested day was 12.
8 to 8. So, or 9 to 9, I guess. So the problem was we had 60 people, 62 people on one platform. So you split it into like 12, 15 people max per flight.
It's
So you've got
15
like
people
5
max per flight.
flights. You got 5 flights, and then each person goes in each flight. We'll go all 3 squats, and then we'll go to the next flight, all 3 squats. Next flight, all 3 squats. Then everybody starts bench. So you're looking at like 2 hours between lifts. You squat, 2 hours later you bench.
your first deadlift and stuff.
So like that kind of stuff can't happen for people to go watch
No,
any sport.
yeah,
Strongman,
yeah.
the world's strongest man, it lasts 3 days,
but it's broken up.
and the first day is preliminary. Like it's a qualifier for the finals. So they do it the right way, and it doesn't last all day. It's like a 6-hour event maybe.
I mean, that's like the Olympia, like national, like bodybuilding stuff like that. You have the pre-judging in like the morning, and then you have the main stuff in the evening.
Well, the reason theirs works is they have other events that go on in between as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
They have other bodybuilding classes that go on in between. With strongman, the only drawback is It's technically a 2 day event for the finals, for instance, for like World's Strongest Man. And between events, you have like an hour. So you might have 5 events that day. Well, you got like 6 hours right there of people waiting.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
they're
the only drawback
catching
there.
their breath by the end of the night.
Dude, sweating, catching their breath. They're walking around with those fans,
Yeah.
Some
like
big
actual
boys.
personal fans they're holding, just blowing into their face the entire time. Or they have somebody else holding one, walking around with them. It's incredible to see. It's a true. It looks like a true freak show because they're all so giant. And
When the dudes are like 6'7", like 400 pounds with abs.
then the people that their entourage is also they're like
Yeah.
2 inches shorter but the same size. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's
They,
very
they
strange.
do a thing where they just take strong men and make them run a half marathon and see who makes it.
They used to do that. I mean, not
They,
half of it.
they used to
but-
do crazy shit in the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
Like wild, goofy stuff.
Yeah, they did like
Like-
an 800-meter brick carrying thing where they had to hold a stack of bricks on their back and like run 800 meters around a track.
They used to do sumo wrestling on it when they did it at the beach. They had them like sumo
Yeah.
wrestle. That's
Think,
just wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the one in Alabama last year did a tug of war at the beach. So it's always in Gulf Shores, and they did a little one-on-one tug of war in the sand.
Hell yeah.
That's
Put
Yeah,
a
I think
little
stuff
get
like
up
that.
on-
It's definitely entertaining.
It is
Yeah.
entertaining, and you get to see people like look each other in the eyes. They have to compete now.
Watching
Yeah.
a human being pull a train, what's cooler than that? Dude put a vest
Facts.
on and bear crawls a train. Like, come
An
on.
800-pound deadlift, of course.
Yeah.
Or even worse, a local competition, a 300-pound deadlift. I'm ready to blow my brains out by the end. It's gonna be Josh. He's judging.
What?
They're gonna send you to all the like shit meets with nobody there. For like 15 competitors, you got to go 6 hours across the state.
No,
To
you
sit there.
volunteer. You volunteer.
That's true.
They put you in a Discord with all the different whatever, and you volunteer.
That's true.
For
You
different
get to work with
reasons.
Chris Webster, so
Yes.
that's awesome. I'm jealous.
That's cool. What if
Like
your
a-
first you went to like the American Pro? What if it was around that time the first one they were like, all right, you got to come judge this.
I'd go.
You got to,
I don't
yeah.
care. I'd go.
You had to like judge. What if you tried to judge like somebody like Joe Sullivan's squat and you red lighted him and he was just like, what the fuck are you?
Well, I think you'd be fine because he's like 5'4".
You'd be like, who are you? You're a nobody.
You have no idea who these guys are. It's hilarious.
This dude
Nope.
looks like a gnome. He looks like a gnome,
Dude, he do
but he
kinda
squats like 700 something pounds. So,
he's
That's
an 800.
crazy.
oh yeah, 800 something pounds.
He's like 220. Squat
Is he
Yeah.
bald?
He is bald.
Yeah, I told you he
I
looks
think-
like a gnome with
I
glasses.
think I was talking to this dude yesterday.
Joe Sullivan?
Is he going to Portland or Poland soon or something like that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I was talking to this little bald dude with a beard. I hope he's not listening to this, but he's like super short, but he squats like, I think he had like 890 pounds on his back or something.
That's probably him. He's an interesting character. I'll say that. He wears those round glasses, Elton John style.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up my Instagram now.
Ain't no way you pulled that picture up.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, wait, let me see it.
Dave, bro.
Here it goes.
Okay. I don't think that was the dude I was talking to.
That'd be pretty dope though if you're just talking to Joe Sullivan.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
What's your training split? What's your workout look like right now?
Right now, I do kind of do like a PPL, the typical push pull legs. I will say I don't always hit legs. I have slacked on the endurance side a little bit with the winter. I just hate going out in the cold, going for a run in the cold, going for a bike ride in the cold. Just not for me. But Yeah, push pull legs, and then every now and then I'll just kind of throw in like a strength training day. So like I do like your 3 compound lifts or like the overhead press, and just kind of do like 3 to 5 reps. Uh, I will say right now I do set like a 50-minute timer, and that's all I have for my workouts, just because I feel like I am so busy that I just am go go go.
Yeah.
uh, but on certain days, I will say that I do stay a little longer than the 50 minutes. But like I said, the nice thing about having the home gym is it's literally a doorway from my house. I
Right.
don't have a 20-minute commute to the gym or anything like that. But
We
I
gotta
am
see.
trying to bulk up a little bit, trying to get some of that strength back because, like I said, with the endurance, um, kind of slacked on the strength training a little bit. And then having the baby, I just kind of was working out to work out, if you know what I mean. You weren't really
Yeah.
training for anything, you're just kind of going through the movements. But
Well,
now
we
I'm
gotta
starting
see
to
if
kind
we
of
can.
get into it.
We gotta see if you're trying to bulk now and get stronger. We gotta see if we can get you into a powerlifting meet and then a marathon the day after.
Oh God.
Have you ever
that,
seen those guys that do that? They do a
that would be
powerlifting
pretty
meet and then they do
insane.
a marathon on Sunday. Powerlifting meet
I have
Saturday,
seen some
marathon
of the
Sunday.
people. I do also feel like a lot of those people are on like TRT or
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a
some
little
kind
extra.
of PED. Yeah, just a little extra.
Maybe not even TRT, but definitely EPO. Something
Uh,
on
I
Sunday.
couldn't. I couldn't imagine doing that because I know I feel like shit after a meet. The day after a meet, I feel like shit. I couldn't imagine getting up and running.
Yeah.
Not just getting up and running, but you're talking about like waking up at 3 a.m. to go start a marathon.
Run
No,
all day.
Yeah,
no,
4 hours. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
no, bro.
But you can be done by lunch.
I'm probably going to rhabdo, kidney failure. That'll be terrible. Or you could
They
do
do
like
it.
powerlifting meet, or you could do like bodybuilding show on Friday,
Ooh.
powerlifting meet Saturday.
Now you're really talking
That's
about rhabdo.
yeah. I do.
As
I do
soon
know.
as
When I had my marathon, I did have a belly on me a little bit. I had that extra fat going to a bodybuilding competition with like
Yeah,
a single digit body fat percentage.
Yeah, you might have to flip it. You have to go powerlifting Friday, marathon Saturday, bodybuilding Sunday.
so basically you'd be
dehydrated.
dry.
Nice.
You'd
Yeah,
be super
nice and
dry.
dehydrated. No salt in your body at all. So like you just have a gram of
Just
table
flat.
salt and you're good to go. I think it's incredible that those guys do that. I don't really know how they do it. And on top of that, I think they get like normally like 1,100 to 1,200 total, which is not world breaking, but that seems tough if you're
Still.
also running like marathon,
Yeah.
ultra marathon, or Ironman, whatever it is.
Yeah, and insane. But like you said, these guys are doing it for a career.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was this guy? Yeah, so that Fergus Crawley guy, he did a 1,200-pound powerlifting total, and then a sub 12-hour iron distance triathlon in the same day.
What the
The
fuck?
same day.
In the same day,
That's-
Josh.
So,
Jesus Christ.
3 to 4 a.m. He did a 205 kilo squat, 121 kilo bench, 220 kilo deadlift. Then at 6 a.m. he did an iron distance triathlon in 11 hours and 53 minutes.
Holy shit.
I just, in my opinion, like,
what is
why?
iron?
So an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and then your marathon,
My God,
which is 26 miles.
a 2.5 mile swim. Drown.
Drown, literally.
Drown.
I did.
Especially after a powerlifting meet.
Yeah, I lifeguarded for one of the. There was a collegiate nationals triathlon here in Tuscaloosa one year. There was a lot of colleges that came, and they swam in the Black Warrior River. So they would have to swim downriver, cross some buoys, and then swim upriver, cross more buoys, swim back downriver, and then exit. I can't remember. I think it was a mile. I think. but in open water on a river, I was like, we pulled like several people out of the water, but most of those people did it like
Like it was
fine.
nothing.
But they were that man. That is really hard.
Okay,
Swimming
so
in water.
I I missed what you said it was for Iron Man. This is the one that he did. It's in UK, so maybe it's different. 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, 26.2 mile run.
Yeah, yep, crazy.
Could not
and
be me.
and yeah.
One day.
And in my opinion, I feel like even a half Ironman is just still absolutely insane. And even to sign up for that race
Yeah.
is like $1,000. I had a buddy, he signed up,
Jesus
did it last
Christ.
year, didn't even finish. Can you
Ooh.
imagine spending $1,000 and just getting a DNF?
Yeah, I
I
can imagine
thought-
jumping off a building too.
I thought powerlifting meets were expensive.
Yeah, really. We
Jesus
pay like
Christ.
$150, and we're like, this is stupid. Why do we do it? $1,000 to go run.
Yeah, like you said, Austin, pay $1,000 and just don't even finish it. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Like I'd be,
I'd cry.
yeah.
Was he even was he close to finishing, or did he just like it wasn't happening?
I think he had 13 miles to go, but he was very, in my opinion, stupid about it. Like he didn't focus on his nutrition and like his salt and electrolyte intake. So then he went to the ER. So then there's another $250 copay on top of it.
In an ambulance? Another $1,000.
I don't know if it was an ambulance, but
Jeez.
Oh man, that is awesome. If I made $1,000, I know I can finish.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
finished. Getting my
Something.
damn money's worth. I'm getting
Something's
my
gonna
money's
finish
worth.
my life or that race.
Go out in an ambulance. If you're
Oh,
gonna quit,
Yeah. You gotta act like you're real hurt.
call 911.
I didn't finish because of I'm dying.
like I'm sure you know who David Goggins is, obviously. But do you ever read his book when he did the 100 miles? He was like in the bathtub and like peeing blood, but I mean, he's like, I finished. I did it. I wouldn't be. No.
Hey, somebody's got to carry the boats, man.
Well,
Somebody's got to do it.
if I could be on all that gear, I'd probably carry the boats too, you know?
You think David Goggins is on a bunch of shit?
Good one. Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta be on
Everything that he
something.
could take. It's not about being Jay Cutler looking. It's the fact that he can recover from running an ultra marathon every single day.
And still has had how many like surgeries and things on his knees and still go out.
I'd be interested to see what he needs. I don't know if you ever. I try to not.
Are you a Cam Haynes fan?
Am I what?
I don't know.
Is that his name? Cameron Haynes?
Oh, Cameron
Guy
Haynes, the
runs.
guy who hunts and runs.
Yeah. He does. He also does like 100 milers and stuff.
Yeah. I read his book recently, and I was actually super into that. And he said like the reason he started running for hunting was so he could basically go where nobody else could go to hunt.
Yeah.
To hunt, and I just thought that was
Hell
pretty
yeah.
fascinating.
It's a good
He's
reason.
a freaking monster. And his son too. His son's crazy too. His son beat
I
David
haven't-
Goggins.
Really?
Yeah, his son though, I think he's probably 20 maybe or something like that. But he beat David Goggins like pull up record and I
Oh,
can't
is he
remember how
that
many hours.
Nathan Fry or something like that? I think he was just going for it.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that wasn't his.
I don't know. He's some social media influencer. I don't know if he actually got it or not, but he's a pretty big dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever heard of Tom Haviland?
I have not.
He's powerlifting's version of a hybrid athlete.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
he also is kind of like a Jason Voorhees as well.
He's never shown his face. In all of his posts, he never shows his face.
You can find his face. I've seen it on
Really?
other posts.
He
But
has a private account, but almost 1 million followers.
yeah, I'll show you.
He's
I can pull it right
private?
here. I can actually share it in this. So
Oh yeah.
he's like a
Oh,
freak of
yeah.
nature for one. Benching over 661 for 3 singles.
For 3.
Well, three singles. So
Oh,
but
3
he's-
single. Yeah.
yeah. So he always films his videos like this, where his back's to the camera, and he's got like this farm. He actually lives on a farm. He works out on his farm.
Is it like New
So he's
Zealand?
like always in his
It's
work
like New
clothes.
Zealand or
Yeah, New
Australia or
Zealand.
something like that.
But
But
on
he-
top of all the strength training, he does like strongman style carrying for weight for distance. But then he also does,
He does
probably
rock.
says it in here. Yeah, like
Use
a
some
10.5 mile ruck with
That
70
is
pounds.
just
So, like,
insane.
he's like our version of an athlete. And then this is some crazy stuff too. It also says he also says that he's 6'7", 350.
He does look like a big dude.
Yeah, this is a
Right.
Crazy,
pretty
bro.
interesting guy. I think.
51-inch box jump.
Yeah, with weight. There you go,
Dude,
Josh. There's his
really-
face.
Dang.
Dude, huge. Jesus Christ. Talk about a
He's got like a
freak.
12-pack and dude,
Talk
he's
about a
like
freak.
12,000.
He does show his face.
Oh yeah, right
Oh,
there.
he
There's
does.
his actual look. But yeah, he does like all those rucks, shit like that. He's pretty wild.
He didn't post
Dang.
for
Talk
like
about his
9 months. He like went off the grid for like
That's
9
when he's-
months.
He like built a gym and was working on that 600 bench press or something. I don't know. I wish we could get him in a competition or doing something along those lines. It's always just like this weird stuff in his yard. Like actually, he like lifts on the grass and like in his little garage. It's crazy, but it goes to show. I think we talked about it before. Like there are some freaks out there that people don't know of. They're like living on a farm somewhere. They can run further, lift more than all of us.
It's an untapped potential.
We checked
yeah.
out.
So I looked it up. So it was Cameron Haynes. His son Truett Haynes is 19. He beat David Goggins' pull-up record. He did over 8,000 pull-ups in less than 24 hours.
That is insane.
Only 8,000.
Only yeah.
I don't know if I've done 8,000 pull-ups in my lifetime.
Yeah, I haven't. Probably not.
That's a lot.
That's
Wow.
You have to add them into your bodybuilding. You remember
8,000
Omar
pull-ups each
Esoff
week.
did a Omar Esoff did like 100 pull-ups a day for like 8 months or something.
Back gains go crazy.
Hopefully. I'd be upset if I did that many pull-ups and I didn't have any back gains.
Yeah,
What was the point?
my back better look like a Dorito.
I do see
Christmas
some
Dorito.
people that do like a Murph every single day. So like that's
Ooh.
I think you run a mile, 300 squats, 200 push-ups, and then 100 pull-ups, and then you run another mile. Like I know there's like these challenges that people will do that for like 30 days, and like I don't know if I could do it, but
They do it with a weighted vest too.
yeah, 20-pound vest.
Crazy. I've never heard of that.
You never heard of
Every
a
day,
mu-
30 days. Yeah, I've heard of murder.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
There was one dude, he's like day 546 of the Murph.
Could not be.
Like,
No way. It's like people that really worship 75 hard.
That's
Yeah,
the one
right.
thing about. That's the one, I guess, good thing though about if you were to do something like that. It's like it would be really hard, but every day you know exactly what you have to do. So some
That's fair.
people that struggle with like, oh, what I need to do. If you have something like, oh, well, do this every day, like that may help them somebody that's just like I'm just gonna suffer for like a month.
And I mean, the Murph, like as you do it more and more, it takes like less than 20 minutes for
Yeah,
high
yeah.
level athletes. So you get a pretty damn good workout in 20 minutes, I guess. At what cost? Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I enjoy.
imagine that after like a month or maybe 2 months, like your muscles just like, all right, we know the routine now, and like you just don't see any more growth whatsoever.
Yeah, that'd be tough. You definitely hit that plateau. That's what I mean. Is like at some point you're just suffering to suffer. You're not like gaining anything. You're not going to be able to. You would get as fast as you can. You wouldn't get faster anymore. You wouldn't get stronger anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty tough. I'll stick to the main lifts.
I'll lift heavy, sir.
Yep.
Run occasionally.
Well, Austin, good to talk with you, man. Thank you for doing this. I know your schedule is like insane with everything you got going on, especially with your family and stuff. So taking a little bit of time to talk with us, it really means a lot. We appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we've
Of
got
course,
everybody. If you're watching this, be sure to comment, send in, send in views of the pod because we really enjoy seeing those. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our social media. That all helps kind of get the things going. So,
Austin, shout yours out too,
oh
so
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
knows.
So you can find me on YouTube at Austin Marks. So another thing I didn't really talk about was I initially started talking about my job as a respiratory therapist, and that's how I got involved in social media. And then I started talking about supplements and all that other good stuff when I started the brand, and that's when I got into fitness a little bit more with social media. But you can find me on YouTube at Austin Marks or on Instagram at Austin Marks, or you can find the supplement company at mhsups.com or mhsupsofficial. And then I do post on TikTok a lot as well. Do you guys have TikTok?
Josh,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I do feel like I see like a lot of um, I don't know, clips from podcasts like this,
yeah.
and it's just a short 20-30 second clip, and I think that those are fantastic in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
that'd be definitely an idea for you.
Our YouTube shorts pop off, so I
Yes.
imagine TikTok would do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Josh is closer to a Zoomer than I am, so it's just not my thing. It's going to be all on him. But yeah,
Well, I
we
appreciate you guys having me.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
I think it's interesting talking to someone that's kind of a different style training than people that we normally talk to, and business owner, new dad, and you have a really difficult job. Working in a hospital for any position is hard, and we appreciate you taking the time for us. And from me, Carson, and Josh, that was your Friday night at the Barbell.